Well, a 6:10 start for the marathon runners, and it's great to see so many athletes taking on the toughest endurance race in world athletics. And this is a wonderful course, a picturesque course taking in the Swan River and Kings Park. Rob, in your experience over this distance, what can you tell us about this race?
So the marathon, the full 42.195 kilometre marathon, is one of the toughest physical tests of endurance that you could possibly take on.
Now let's go back to the men's marathon, and our three leaders are still maintaining the pace, although Chelimo took a natural break and has dropped back momentarily. But he's rejoined Lalane and also Kemboy as Germa is chasing in fourth.
Now we're actually getting into the really tough section of the marathon course. Not only is the last 10K really where you're really starting to feel weary and tired, but we've also got a few good solid hills here. Hopefully the runners have done some training over the hills, and they've had a good opportunity to look over this last section of the course. And you know, the good thing about running up hills is that invariably on the other side of an uphill is a downhill, so that they can actually recover a little bit, and that should give them a little bit of a boost. And it actually in some ways helps your legs to recover from the relentless pounding and the rhythm, to have a little bit of an uphill where you can shorten your stride, and then followed by a downhill where you can just lengthen your stride a little bit and recover.
Luca Chelimo and Lalane Kennedy have dropped David Kemboy at the bottom of Underwood Avenue, and now they're racing for home.
They're really starting to feel the exhaustion, and this is really what the marathon is all about. This is what the long runs, this is what all of the training has been preparing them for, this last 5K.
2, 1.
We're underway in the Chevron City to Surfer Active 12K event. It is the classic race from the Perth CBD out to Perth's beautiful beaches in the western suburbs. And look at the numbers, just shy of 28,000 participants in this year's 12K event. It's great to see so many out there, and it's Harry Summers who's taken an extraordinary early lead. He's flying down Hay Street, having finished second in the Sydney City to Surf a couple of weeks ago. Here's the chase pack being led by Roberto Busi and also Neil Berry. But they're a long way behind Summers, who is really establishing himself as one of the best runners in the country, having represented Australia at half marathon distance. And as he heads into Perry Lakes, he has established at a lead that no one will be able to overcome at this stage. He looks pretty comfortable as he heads through the shadows and up towards Oceanic Drive. And here's Linda Spencer. She won this race back in 2008, and she's got a significant gap over Lauren Shelley, who's a 5-time champion in the 12K.
The 2012 Chevron City to Surf Marathon runners have taken a 42-kilometre course through the beautiful city of Perth, along the Swan River, past iconic landmarks and into picturesque Kings Park, before running through vibrant Subiaco and finishing here at City Beach. And we're anxiously awaiting the arrival of more than 45,000 participants as they turn for home and cross the finish line.
Our two leaders in the men's marathon are in their concluding stages, and it's Lalane Kennedy who's just easing his way clear of the two-time defending champion Luca Chelimo. Kennedy, the 28-year-old, has run really well, and he's put in a burst of acceleration and looks the winner with 500 to run. Chelimo doesn't have it in him to chase him down. Here's Chihiro Tanaka, the female leader of the race at 42 years of age, a very experienced athlete. But it's Lalane Kennedy who's going to win the Perth Chevron City to Surfer Active Marathon for the first time in 2012, winning in 2:16.40, ahead of his compatriot of Kenya, the 34-year-old Luca Chelimo, who wasn't able to defend his crowns won in 2010 and 2011, but he ran gallantly nonetheless.
How tough was that course?
Yeah, this course is very good. It is no different from last year. Last year I was number 3. Another year is number 2. Another year as number 2. This year as number 1.
David Kemboy finished third to make it a Kenyan trifecta. Kevin Matthews and Rhys James, finishing 6th and 7th, were a part of the largest corporate team, Team Chevron, and Kevin is with Mark Reddings.
The push-ups, etc. at the end of that 42K?
Great run. Perfect conditions. It didn't get any better than that. I'm on a runner's high right now. This is what it's like.
Brilliant. You're also the first, even though the accent doesn't suggest it, the first Australian to cross the line.
Oh, fair dinkum, I'm stoked. That is awesome. Awesome.
Almost as awesome as hugging the great Rob de Castella, as we see Chihiro Tanaka of Japan coming across the line to win the women's marathon. This 42-year-old lady, a wonderful performance. She began running marathons back in 1998, ran her PB 10 years ago, and she's so pleased with her win here.
How are you feeling? The obvious question.
お気持ちはどうでしょうか？
とても嬉しいです。
I'm
ま
just
さか
delighted, absolutely
ま
delighted.
さか優勝できるとは思ってなかっ
I
たので。
honestly didn't believe I could win.
Magda Kiramali-Poulos finished second across the line. The first Australian, it's the fourth consecutive year she's finished in the top 5. Tanaka and Kiramali-Poulos, the only ladies to break 3 hours in what was a tough women's marathon. Here we see the amazing shoes, the 5-fingered vibrant shoes of Harry Summers. He wears them in every race he competes in, and he's leading the 12K here over Neil Berry, who's running exceptionally well at second on the road. He's the state 5,000 metre champion, but he does like the 10,000 metre distance. And Scott Tamblin, who's well known over 800 metres in local circles, being coached by 3-time Olympian and 1,500 metre Australian record holder Sarah Jamieson, is running well for third ahead of Roberto Bussi. But it's been all Harry Summers from the gun to the line. He wins in just outside the race record. A very impressive display from Neil Berry and Scott Tamblin, the 1, 2, 3 in the men's 12K.
Harry absolutely blitzed your rivals there, mate. And didn't see the time, but just outside the course record, I believe.
Was it? Oh, right. I didn't know that. I was just, I was leading the whole way, and I knew it was only going to be me and Neil and Max running, so I thought I'd just try and give the course record a shot.
Linda Spencer was a convincing winner in the women's 12K, winning for the second time over 5-time champion Lauren Shelley and triathlete Nera Jarrett.
Really wasn't expecting to win. I've recently been injured, and I'm only 3 weeks back from injury, so really stoked to have won today.
We rejoin the half marathon in Kings Park, and it's our 2 leaders, the Ethiopians, Gemechu Weicha and also Wonwosen Galita, who lead. They've led virtually from the start, following in the footsteps of some of the great Ethiopians like Abibi Bakila, Momo Walde and Haile Gebrselassie, and they've run well together through Kings Park. Weicha is coached by the great Rob de Castella, and Galita has spent a lot of time living in Melbourne recently. And Weicha has just opened up a slight gap on his countryman, and he's even encouraging him to keep up the pace. But unfortunately, Galita is just stretching his arms out there and relaxing. Just can't maintain this incredible pace from Weicha, who's run really well as he heads up Underwood Avenue, trying to keep his cadence up this tough part of the race with just 5Ks to go. He's second on the road in the women's race, Kelly Epps of Queensland, who's training for the Hawaiian Ironman later in the year. But in the men's race, Gemechu Weicha has been a dominant winner over the 21Ks.
Congratulations on winning the half marathon. Did you enjoy it today?
I love it. The weather is fantastic, and the course is just, I really enjoy it. So especially first of my favorite course.
And why wouldn't he love it? He won by nearly 2 minutes over his countryman Galita. Jerry Hill was the first Australian across the line in 4th. As we see Rochelle Rogers coming across the line to win the women's 21K in an enormous PB.
How many of these half marathons have you done?
I've done every one they've had for the Chevron City to Surf, so yeah, all of them plus a few more.
And this is your best finish?
Yeah, by far. I got 6th last year, so it's nice to get first for once.
Great run by the local Rogers, who beat Queenslander Kelly Epps and Moira O'Brien Smith to win the 21K for the women.